Our last new project for this week is going to be Lepidolite. Lepidolite. We've got from Gems by Mail. They have it in these 1 pound bags, and they're pretty nice sized chunks, but it's a softer stone, so it's going to be a little bit of a more advanced tumble. So we've got our 3 pound barrel. Let's just put this in here and see how much more we can run. This is pretty soft. I can feel it being rather soft as we go through here. It's kind of interesting to see if any of this is going to survive a solid week. Let's see here. It's pretty large. Let's just let these go through like this. See what we get, and then we'll have some more rough we can add to the barrel next week. How exciting. We're going to put 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 tablespoon of borax, and 1.5 tablespoons of 6090 silicone carbide grit, and we're going to let it run a week, and we're going to see if there's anything left. It's pretty soft, so I think a week is probably an overshot, but it's an experiment. Let's find out. Okay, I'm so excited. We'll see you guys next week. We're back for a quick update. I did a Google search on this most hardness for this stone, and it's a 2.5 to 4. So running this for 7 days would be suicide. I'm going to run this for 4 days and then check it, and even that might be too long, but I think 7 would be detrimental. So we'll run this for 1 week. I've got everything in here. No, not a week. 4 days. It's already like 3:30 in the afternoon today, so it's really going to be like 3.5 days. Oh, I'm so excited to run something new. This is definitely an advanced tumble. So fingers crossed, everything's going to work out. See it in 4 days. Okay, it has been 3 days for our Lepidolite to be running in 6090 silicone carbide. Of course, stage 1 is a little tricky for such a soft stone. It's a Mohs hardness of anywhere from 2.5 to 4. Hang on here, I'm just trying to open the lid. Okay, Lepidolite. Mohs hardness 2.5 to 4. It's a super soft stone. It's been running 3 days in our stage 1 6090 silicone carbide grit. And I'm really nervous to see the condition of the stone. Nice little purple slurry. It's good and thick. Ooh, it looks like we still have some stone mass. Oh, I'm very happy about that. Okay, let's do a cleanup here. Look at that, it's all speckled. Wow. Look at those purples. Trying to be very gentle. Let's see the condition here. So there's a lot of grit left, and we knew that there would be because it's such a soft stone, and it's only been 3 days running, so there's no opportunity to use it all up. And I only used 1.5 tablespoons for the soft stone in the 3-pound barrel. I thought there'd be a lot more chippage, but there isn't. There's only a couple in here. Look at the stone. Look at this. It's even made my fingers purple. Wow. Oh, I can't wait to get this inside. There's still a little... Let me give it a much better rinse. All right. I always find it really interesting when I do these clean outs in this outside set tub to see that the grit just floats to the bottom because it's heavier than water. And this is what, you know, remains. Okay, I'll take this downstairs and do an inspection. See how much more time we're going to give it. Okay, be right back. Lepidolite. It has been running for 3 days in stage 1 6090 silicone carbide grit. It has a Mohs hardness of 2.5 to 4, which makes this a very soft stone and an advanced tumble. And it requires a lot of babysitting. So we wanted to make sure that we weren't losing a lot of mass as we ran this in stage 1 to do the shaping and grinding. And I think I'm pretty happy with how it's turning out. We just have a little bit of breakage, not a whole lot. I'm expecting all this to shear off as we continue to grind. Yeah, look at these. Very interesting. Alright, these little lovely purple stones are drying already. Want to keep them damp. Wow. All right, so we have more lepidolite rough that we're going to put in this barrel to help with the fill. So we've got these pieces left over here. This is what it looked like when it started. This is after 3 days in rough. Huh. Okay, let's refill this barrel, recharge it with more 6090. Gonna let it run for a couple more days. Do another inspection. Pick out what is gonna move forward to 120. Yeah, look at that. That's just about the right amount of filler, right amount of rock volume for the bowl. We'll see this in 3 days. Okay, it is time to check our barrels. So I was going to do this after 3 days for our lepidolite, but today's August 4th. The world kind of got away from me. So let's see what kind of damage happened from leaving these things for so many days in stage 1 on this really soft stone. Kind of sticky. Everything's really hot and sticky today. Like everyone else in the country, we're in the middle of a heat wave and our power went out. It's a good thing water doesn't run on power. Okay. Look at how purple that is. Super easy cleanup. It's a real greasy wheel. I put some chapstick on this wheel so it wouldn't squeak against the machine washer. Now my hands are all gross. Okay, let's see what's going on with this. Look at how purple. Nice and foamy. Hey, look at that. There's still... I'm really surprised. I thought that there'd be like no mass at all left. I thought it would all be teeny tiny little pieces. I thought they would all look like this. Okay, let's rinse it out, see where we're at. Look at how super easy that cleans out. That's awesome. I just love it when it's this easy to clean. There's a lot of grit left, but we didn't run this particular barrel for a full week. It only went for 5 days. So we were expecting there to be grit left. Quartz on that. Gosh, dirty fingers. It has a grainy texture to it, which we're expecting because it's such a soft stone. But I think it's really nifty to see the patterns coming out. That's a really dark piece. Wow. Holy cow. There was some chippage in the barrel, and you're always going to expect that in the first week. But what I want to decide is if any of this is actually ready to move on to 120. Kind of see how much mass we lost. It was 2/3 full when we started. And it's about half right now. Huh. Okay, interesting. All right, I'm going to finish cleaning up the little residuals here. Wash my hands and be right back. We are finishing this week up in parts. From when I washed out the barrels, we had lost power. And it took a couple days for it to come back. So we let these soak, or after we cleaned the barrels out, we put water in here just to keep everything, wet so it doesn't dry out until we were able to get to the inspection, which is what we're at today. So we've got our pretty Lepidolite. It's been running in 6090 coarse silicone carbide grit, and this is a really soft stone. It's almost 2.5 to 4. So we lost a lot of mass, and we had run it for 1 week, and then there wasn't enough to run the barrel, enough volume left in it, so we added some more rough that we had laying around. So some of these have been running for 1 week, and some of these have been running for 2 weeks. And we will see the difference side by side here in this barrel. Just trying to dig all the stones out so we can do our inspection. You can kind of see from looking at it what's been 1 week and what's been 2. Really trying hard not to. Oh, there's some little. You see inside that barrel, there's some stone chips in there. Those are all fragments that broke off. Okay. This stone has been running for 1 week. And it obviously needs more time. It's still rough. The surface is very sandy, very grainy. There's divots and little pits. that we want worked out. So this is going to have to run for another week. But this is 1 week and this is 2 weeks. So you see how much smoother the surface is? It doesn't have all these little, you know, surface issues. Here, let's get one that's close to the same color. Again, 1 week, 2 weeks. And this has been running for 2 weeks, or 2 cycles, because they're shorter cycles. I shouldn't really call it a week for Lepidolite. But the second cycle is really what did it. We did lose a lot of mass though. These were a bit larger when they started, but we've worked out a lot. The surface is getting much smoother. Pretty happy about that. But I don't know, hang on to that thought. These need to go in for another cycle. Any of these really rough ones, I mean, they're pretty obvious to see. I think there was only like maybe 4 or 5 stones that we put in the second time. That one could use another one. This part of the stone is a different stone than the lepidolite that's over here. I call this host rock for a lack of a better terminology. And I'm not a geologist, so I don't know what that's called. But I'd like that to run another week. This little chip. It's looking cute. Look how fast these stones dry out of the water. That can go for another week. Being such a soft stone, I'm not, you know, this is an experiment. I'm not really sure we're going to get that glassy shine that we get on a harder stone like quartz or jaspers or agates. So I don't know. Do not know what the shine's going to be. We're going to try it and figure it out. I'm assuming it's going to be probably like this, a little bit of a matte shine. Whew. I don't know if I really want to run these for a second. I mean, an additional run, but I think I'm going to have to. Oh, yeah. It just feels like I could just snap that right off. It's like quartz. Man. Things like this. I have a handy dandy little chisel that I put in here. And then I just tap it with a hammer that I don't have with me just now. Let me go get it. Be right back. Okay, let's try this. This is not the right surface to be doing this on. I don't want to get shards everywhere. I'm only doing this for demonstration purposes. Normally I take this outside to do. This should just technically be really quick. We'll see. Yeah, just like that. It's really not going to come off there. Kind of need 2 hands to do this. And I did grab my safety glasses. Yeah, see, I need something harder than this little workbench. Because it's not gonna, it's got too much give. Pick up all these little pieces. But this is the general idea. I'm going to take this outside. Take a piece of plywood, put it on the cement because I don't want to crack the cement. Because it gives me a better surface to work against. Have my safety glasses on, my chisel and my hammer, and then I will go whack that corner off. But you saw the general idea of how to do it, so we'll set this aside and do that afterwards. Now I am going to just run it all for a few more days. Oh gosh, sorry about that. I cut that part. Okay, I am going to run this for a couple more days. Because it's such a soft stone, and most of the grinding has already happened, I am going to put some ceramic media in here because, as you can see, it's not, the volume is only at half barrel here, so I need something to make up the volume. I am going to grab the ceramic media real quick. Normally people don't put ceramic media in stage 1, but this is such a super soft stone. I need something to cushion, but I also need something to make up the volume so it hits the 2/3 mark. And I want the grit to be able to get into some of the smaller pieces, you know, to the surfaces. So we're going to take our 6090 ceramics. I separate my ceramics. You don't have to, but I do because I had plenty, and why not? We have way too much water in here, and the water is just to keep the stones wet while we work on this. Working around this camera stand is a pain in the butt. I have to do another setup for this camera. Alright, I think that's enough. Alright, I'm going to go dump some of this water and be right back. Okay, we've dumped out some water. And you can see we're still really not quite to where we want it to be, to the 2/3 full, but I am just going to let it run the way it is. I'm going to add just a smidge more ceramics now that we've dumped some of that water out. That's enough. Oops, dropped a piece. Okay, we are going to put a tablespoon of borax to help with grit suspension, thickening of the slurry, and barrel cleanup. So there's 3 reasons to use, borax. Whoops, where's my label? There it is, borax. Then we have the 6090 silicone carbide right here. Just going to put one in here because it's not going to run a full week. And then we are going to check on this in a couple of days. I'm thinking 3 days we'll check on it, maybe 4. Alright, we're going to put this on the tumbler and we'll see it in a few days. Fingers crossed. And we're back with our Lepidolite, which is a Mohs hardness of 2.5 to 4. And it's been running an additional 4 days, no, 3.5 days, in stage 1, coarse 6090 silicone carbide grit. Wow. Purple everywhere, or lilac. Ooh, pretty. We knew we would have grit left over because it was a short cycle. We didn't run it for a full week. We only ran it for like 3.5 days. And knowing I was going to run a shorter cycle, I even put less grit in the barrel than normal. And I still had a lot left. And again, this is a really soft stone. I just like watching that go down the outdoor drain. Oh, I see a lot of chippage. Lots of chips happened. Gosh darn it, I'm not very careful today. Yeah, that quartz I thought was going to come off because the Lepidolite's so soft. I thought it would have cracked off that quartz. It's not feeling really smooth. It's feeling super textured. A lot of mica in this. Let's see how that beautiful flash. So as you can see, we had a whole lot of cushioning in the barrel to protect the stone. I've only got about half a barrel's worth of rock. All the rest of it is ceramic media. Okay, so we're going to take this inside, do an inspection, and yeah, we're going to take it inside and do an inspection. We'll be right back. And we're back with our second barrel. That is in our advanced tumbles. And this is Lepidolite. It has been running for 10 days total in 6090 coarse silicone carbide grit. It's run through 2 cycles, total 10 days total. And it's got some chippage, which we knew it would have. However, I'm very surprised that this little piece of quartz did not break off because this is so soft. Quartz is like a 7 and this is like a 2.5 to 4. So that was really interesting. I really wanted that to work down. It has some of these stones have not run as long as others because I had added some additional rough to the barrel to make up some volume in the barrel. Yeah, this piece has been running longer. So I think some of these we're going to pull aside for 120 because we're losing so much mass, and then, you know, we've got some breakage. You know, there's this one, and there was a couple other little pieces of breakage in the barrel. That's a neat one. There's a lot of quartz in that one. So when I was cleaning my shelves out, I found like another 2 pounds worth of this lepidolite. And I'm kind of toying with the idea of running another 60-90 cycle and putting that in there just so that we get rid of it all. But then again, if this doesn't turn out, then I've got some more in stores to try a different method. I think I'll just continue with this batch. Oh gosh, that's just going to break. Look at that. This is where, oh gosh, sorry. This is where we lost some. It's almost like I could just twist it like that and break it. That's how soft this stone is. Yikes. Let's set that aside. That's a dark one. That feels harder than the other rock. Okay. This is just crumbling as we go here. And you see we had it really well cushioned. And, you know, so much ceramic media for this little bit of stone. But I don't think this is going to go back into a 3-pound barrel though. Because we're just going to continue with this, I want to, oh gosh, go to a 1.5 pound barrel, I think, and I do have more of those laying around, so. Yep, that's what we're going to do. We're going to recharge this barrel. And run it a couple more days in 60-90 so that those other pieces can catch up so that we can run everything in 120 together. Alright, I'll be right back. Okay, after we separated it out for the stuff that was ready to go to 120, this is all we have left for the 60-90 run. So what I'm going to do is put it back in the 3-pound barrel. And I've got another 2 pounds of it right here, and I'm just going to add to it. So I really just want to have some nice pieces when we finish. Let me add some of that ceramic media back in here to cushion. Because it's so darn soft. That's a nice dark piece. Yeah, this kind of looks like it's got some mold or something on it. No. It's kind of gross, but what I'm going to do is put baking soda in here to counteract any organic matter. I'm going to kind of almost overfill this barrel because we get so much stone loss because it's so soft. borax in here. Put 1. We're going to get some stage 1 6090 silicone carbide. I'm only going to put 1 tablespoon in here because it's not going to run a full week. Close those up, and then let me get the baking soda. Okay, now we have the baking soda. Water. It's definitely overfilled, and that is on purpose because it's such a soft stone. Okay. We are going to run this Lepidolite another 4 days. I'm expecting those first stones to be really tiny. Let's, what is today? The 11th. Okay. Alright, we will see this in 4 days. Advanced tumbles, lots of work. Back with our Lepidolite, which has been running 3 days in 6090, which is let's see, our 4th run, but we keep adding new rough every week. So we take out a stone that's ready to go to 120 and then put in stones that are needing more work. We kind of overfilled the barrel a little bit because we were expecting a lot of stone mass, and we really didn't get it because we overfilled the barrel. Lots of chipping though. Lots of chipping. This is going to need a few more days. It's not shaped enough. For me to take it to 120. And again, some of these are, I mean, they've only been running a couple of days. So I'm going to put these back in the barrel. And we had ceramic media in here too because these are a Mohs hardness 2.5 to 4. So they're really soft stone, and I wanted to cushion it. I may have over cushioned it. That one has a really rough end. I'm trying to work out. This was a broken piece that's turning into a little tiny piece of stone. This one is disintegrating. That's where a lot of this is coming from. I just feel like I could just break that with my hand almost. The black in here is mica, and that tends to undercut quite a bit. Let's see what happens. I have a lot of Lepidolite left. I've got like maybe 3 pounds of it left. But I don't want to run it yet. I was just going to keep adding to the 6090 barrel to see what happens. These little chips here I'm going to throw in the garbage. I don't want to do anything with them. They're so soft. These ones are big enough that I'm going to let stay in. I'm not worried about much on this. So we're about half full. I could add, I'm gonna add, this is an experiment. We're just gonna see how much abuse we can give these. Trying to find some pieces that are not really janky. Easier said than done. That's got some pinks in it. Let's put that one in. Oh, lots of pink on that one. I don't know what the host rock is on this, but it looks really interesting. So let's put that in and see what we get. Alright, I'm not putting any more. Now, because we didn't get any real movement in the barrel, I'm not going to add the ceramic media back in here. Just going to put the borax and the silicone carbide and then put it back on the tumbler for a few days. I am checking it often and not running full 1 week cycles because it is such a soft stone. So we're going to keep this going until I get enough to run it in medium. Interesting. I really thought this would move faster. It would have if I would stop adding stuff to it. But I wanted a good volume on the barrel. Kind of crazy. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to really like this process on this stuff. But we're going to figure it out. Be right back. And we're back with our Lepidolite, which is a Mohs hardness of 2.5 to 3. This little lovely stuff has been running for an additional 5 days in 60-90. So let's see, we've got 3, 10, 15, 19 days total between all the different cycles we've been running this. Some of these I just keep adding more rough to, but others like this, and these are wet because I just washed them out, are ready to go to medium. Kind of a perpetual barrel of Lepidolite because I still have over 2 pounds of it to tumble. See, we got some breakage here. Some of the stone is crumbling. It is so soft. That still feels gritty. Oh, that feels better. So the Lepidolite started out like this. This is it in the rough. And as you can see, it's starting to shrink down quite a bit. There's a pretty piece we put in last week, or last few days ago. But some of them are ready to move forward. And I'm just going to pull them out. They're not perfect. But we're losing so much mass that I'm going to want something left. But you can see, you know, it is shaping, but there's still pits and whatever. So we're just going to be really careful. And I have an ultrasonic cleaner on its way. And it should be able to get all the grit out before we move it to another stage. That feels like a fresh break on that edge. I'd like that to tumble a little bit longer. Boy, it's a lot of mica. That's just going to shred. This is going to be interesting. It's that piece we chipped off of section. That is really hard, the quartzite, which is close to a 7. I'm surprised the rest of this rock didn't kick it off already. What to do? So these are all, I have a batch over here that we pulled out last time. It's ready for a wash cycle and ready to go to 120. These I'm going to add to it. These need another cycle in stage 1. These are just getting pulverized. You know, this has just got some interesting shaping to it. I might just pull that out and see what happens with it. Run it all as an experiment. And that one is an experiment. There's some really neat pink on this one. Oh, see, that just broke in my hand. So that's definitely not going anywhere. Huh. Yeah, that's got that fresh break on it. This was only had 5 days, and it's only got 5 days in. This little piece might be alright to go. Wow, look at all this. All right, after running 5 cycles, which are like 3 to 4 days each, I think I can safely say we could run this in stage 1. Yeah, see, that's just chipping off of my fingernails, just cutting that out. Goodness, that's just really breaking down. I got distracted. So after running 5 cycles in stage 1, and they're short cycles, I think I can safely say we could run the first week, a 7-day cycle, in 60-90 with fresh rough. Yeah. I think I can make that claim at this juncture. All of this is going back in the barrel for another run, and I'm going to, of course, add more rough so that we have the volume we need in the barrel. And I'm not putting any ceramics in it because I wanted to do as much shaping as I can. And now that we've run it a few times, I'm feeling a little more confident in not cushioning it at the beginning. All of this is going to be put aside for medium. So we're making progress. We're making progress, slowly but surely. And that's what you do with a new product to you, is take it slow, so you know you're not ruining everything. And it's better that it takes more time than it does to rush through it and be miserable with the results. Okay, that's pretty much all I got to say about this particular Lepidolite this week, or for this stretch of video. We'll see it again. I'm going to put this back in a barrel, put more rough in it, and we will see it next week. I'm going to actually, even though there's some pieces that are close to being ready, I'm going to actually let it run for a full 7 days. Who knows if any of this will survive. But we're going to run it for a full 7 days and see what happens. Okay, let me go get the barrel. Okay, now that we've got the barrel, I'm going to put some of these bigger pieces in the bottom. And then I'm going to put these little tiny chips, which I think are just going to evaporate into mud. And that's fine, because I wasn't going to do anything with them anyway. Let's see, we can get some more pieces in here. Let's vary the sizes as we can. Ooh, that's a lovely piece. There's a tiny little one. Alright, that's all I'm going to put in there. I don't want to overload it. Goodness, we're never going to get rid of that lepidolite at this rate. It's taking forever. We are going to put 1 tablespoon of borax. And at some point, somewhere, I've got stage 1 grit. Oh, that's heavy. Here we go. 1.5. Because it's a soft stone, it's not going to use all the grit. Ooh. Let's get this grit off the rim so that we can get a good seal. And that's all I'm going to put in for water. Oh, goodness. You shouldn't have the camera right in front of your arms. Today is the 19th. And we're going to put it back on the tumbler. Room on this one. Just throw it on there. And that's all there is to it. Our other little beauties will be ready in about 3 days to clean out. They're not ready yet. Okay, and we're back with our lepidolite, but there's a little bit of a story that goes with this lovely little barrel. We had put it on the tumbler on the 19th, and we were going to let it run for a solid week. And on day 6 of that run, we lost power for 3 days. And then I just haven't gotten back to the barrels, and today is now the September 3rd, so it has sat on without power for 3 days, and then it's been another 4 days. I just haven't gotten to it, so we lost a whole week of production. However, whatever. Let's find out what's going on in this barrel. It doesn't sound like there's any movement in there, so I hope it's not all locked up. But we're going to find out what happens when you just let it sit. Well, it is really thick. There's a little bit of gas buildup under the rim. Oh, that just made my hands filthy. So we took care of that. Nice and flat again. Just from that little tiny bit I dumped out, you can see there's a lot of grit that didn't get used. This purple is rock mud. All that black is coarse grit. Alright. Let's see if we have any stone at all left. Or did it all just turn to paste? Oh, there's stone. Goodness, can you see that? It's just like... Just turning to cement. Oh, it's cleaning out really easy. I'm doing it slow because I'm really curious to see. Doesn't look like anything got glued to the bottom. The barrel clean out was easy. Super foamy. Huh. I was really nervous. I gotta admit, I didn't know if I'd have any stone left. So it kind of sat there for a couple of days before I decided to go check on it. And after the barrel washouts from, oh, I don't know, I think it was the 22nd. Yeah, on August 22nd, I did the barrel washouts on the other barrels. And this one was still running because it's off schedule, because it's such a soft stone, and we were doing cycles instead of runs. Some of these are ready to move to stage 2, but as we keep adding more rough to the barrel, it's kind of like a perpetual stage 1. You can see some of the stones really shrunk down to nothing, and some of this is breakage. Sort of got a little bit of both situations happening here. Yeah. Give it another rinse. Alright, let's take it downstairs and add it to all those barrels that I never bothered to do an inspection on last week. Kind of crazy when life gets in the way. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright, we are back to do our inspections from our 8/22 barrel cleanouts, and today is September 3rd. Everything is just sort of sat on hold. We had a 3-day power outage, and then I just got busy with life and haven't gotten back to this. So let's start with our Lepidolite, which is an advanced stone. This is stage 1. It has been running various amounts of time in stage 1. Yeah, it's a piece of broken stone. We have been pulling out little batches from all the runs of stone Lepidolite that we've got ready for stage 2, and we're just waiting for all this other rock to catch up to it. Get this bag opened up on me. All right, so let's see if we've got anything else to add to our stuff that's ready to go forward. This one looks nice. It's got this little hole in it here. But the shaping is really, really nice on this. And I don't think I want to keep wearing down the stone just for that mica pocket. I'm going to clean it with an ultrasonic cleaner so make sure there's no grit held. I'm trying to get as much of this moving forward as I can. Some of these have been running multiple cycles in stage 1, but not all of them, because every time we run a cycle we add more rough to the barrel. And this one seems harder, but that piece that broke off last week, or last time we ran it, is smoothed out. You know what? I want to see on this soft stone what 120 will do for smoothing the surface, because right now the surface feels sandy, or not gritty, but like it has a sandy texture to it. It's not really smooth. And the next stage of grit should grind this more to where we get that. Oh, there's a lot of quartz on that one. Yeah, that was grit left over. And the ultrasonic cleaner will get all those little bits and pieces out that the toothbrush can't get. That's a really deep hole. That is going to carry all kinds of grit if we don't have something else that can clean it. Yeah, that needs more work. I don't know if you can see. It's like little grains of stone coming off on my hands. Oh, this I don't know. Just want to see what we can salvage. Wow, it's like with my fingernail. Do you look at this? What's happening with my fingernail? I'm just crushing that off. That could be polish. Or not polish, excuse me. Slurry. It didn't get a good enough rinse when we were outside. This has a fracture line. I wonder if I can just break that off. And I could. That's how soft the stone is. Now, because this is a fresh break, it's going to need to go back into coarse just to smooth that out. And that goes with our little piles there. Yeah, I'm not going to do anything with it. Some of these, I'm just going to put in the 6090 barrel to use to help grind all this down. So this is really just really broken. And we kind of expected it with a stone that's this soft. Some of these just require a little more time. I don't know if that's going to benefit, but it's going back in. Oh, there's a lot of pockets on this one. And another broken piece. goodness, lots and lots of breaks. Yeah, that was a fresh piece last week. It's got a lot of harder quartz mixed in with it, so it can take a little bit longer to get ready for stage 2. I don't like that end there, and that definitely is not ready. So we are about half and half on this batch. Half of them are ready to go to stage 2, so they'll join these. Need a bigger bag to put them in to wait. This is just like the stuff that broke off, and so we're going to put that back in the barrel to run another stage 1, and it will help with the grinding. And I have more lepidolite here that I want to put in, because you can see it's like maybe a quarter full. That's a pretty big piece. Some of these are on the bigger side. Want a nice variety. So you can even hear it when it falls in here that it's quiet. It is very soft stone. It's got a nice matrix of something in there. I'm going to take that out. I think that's going to be a problem child for the last ends. Do I want to add another piece? I'm fighting with the wanting to get rid of it. I had sourced the stone from a couple different places. So I just want to, that's really interesting. I wonder what that is. Emerald? Does lepidolite grow with emerald? Will that break off? Yeah, it does. Goodness. Well, let's see what it is. All right, that's enough for this round. Goodness, we are never going to finish up with this lepidolite. All right, we're going to want stage 1 grit, which is the 6090, of course, silicone carbide. I'm going to put 1 tablespoon, and we had like 1.5 in there last time. You know, I'm only going to put 1 because we had some grit left over after our cycle. And let's use a little bit less and see if we have less grit left over. And then I'm going to put 3 teaspoons, because that equals 1 tablespoon, of borax. I don't want to use the same spoon because I don't want grit contaminating my borax. Now let's add some water to the barrel. Just to the bottom of the top layer of rock, because we don't want it swimming in there. We want to create a slurry for grinding. All right, we'll button it up. Need a little piece of paper towel. Dry that off some. Make it easier to see if there's leakage later. Let's adjust the date on here. Today is September 3rd. Oh, goodness. You know what? Let's get another piece of tape. Today is September 3rd. All right. We're going to put this on the tumbler, and we're going to see it in 1 week. All right, we'll be right back with our next barrel. This is it for the advanced stuff. Everything else that we're doing is beginner level. So, too much babysitting on the advanced for my liking this week. All right, we'll be right back. And we're back with our Lepidolite that we are running in stage 1. We keep adding to the rough. Wow, look at how thick that is. Like cake batter. We keep adding rough to the barrel because we have so much extra to run. Look at that. Holy cow. This really soft stone just disintegrates. We've got chippage, breakage, lots of leftover grit. And we're back with our Lepidolite, which is an advanced tumble. We have been running continuous stage 1 barrels on this because we're trying to get all of the rough that we have up to the same stage ready to go to medium. So this is feeling really porous, very sandy, but it's very smooth. Now we had no ceramics in it this time, because we were trying to we had brand new rough in here. We were trying to get it ground down. But this one must have been in 2 or 3 cycles, and it's ready to go to medium. It's another one ready to go to medium. This is not. Let's see how much work needs to happen to this still. Back in the barrel for that one. This one, I think. Ooh. Now, it's really close to being ready to go to medium, but I'm going to put it back in the barrel. This is ready for medium. This is going to break. You can see the fracture line here. Whoop. Let's get a focus. You can see the fracture line. Oof. And there it goes. Look at that. Look at the crumble of the stone. Oh, and there was a whole piece that came off too. Yikes. I mean, it's just crumbling in our hands. Look at all the stone. You would. There's no way we want a stone like that to have progressed to another stage of grit, because if it broke then it would ruin the finish on other stones. So stage 1 is definitely where we want this crumbling and breakage to happen. I'm going to go wash my hands off, and then I'm going to come back and finish inspecting this batch. Be right back. We're back. Who would have thought you could crumble stone with your hands? Yeah, this needs more work. That's got a really sharp point. We know that's going to need to go back in. Just going to let that crumble to dust. This one's feeling better. Oh, this feels like it's got some granite in it. or at least a high mica content. Very rough and porous surface. It needs another run. Another runs. I mean, you know, some of these you can tell it's only been 1 week. And some of them it's been 2 or 3, and you can really see the difference. Wow, look at that. Remember last week we said we wanted to run this again? That is really super pitted. Let's see what happens. Run it again. It's got some quartz on it. Oh, remember this was that piece that we were really concerned to get all the grit out of it. We were going to let it go for another week. I'm going to put that in the ultrasonic and see if that gets it out of that spot. A cute little experiment. It's another one that just broke. We did put a lot of new rough in there. This is that piece that we broke earlier, a couple weeks ago. That granite still hanging on. I thought that the other stone would have loosened it off by now. This is the one with the green on it. I wanted to see what would happen. So far the green has stayed. We didn't know if it was emerald or tourmaline. Probably tourmaline. Gosh. This surface is just not ready. I don't think we're going to have a whole lot left. These are just like little pebbles. This is all the breakage that happened in the barrel. We're going to leave it in there. It's rough. Filler. All these little pieces that we just broke off are going to go back in the barrel to help aid with the grind. I'm sure it's just all going to become mud. So we saw how the super thick slurries that come out of this. But we still have more lepidolite. So our lovely little 3-pound barrel is only just under half full. So we're going to throw some more stone in. Now just watch it disappear. Goodness. I'd like this to be the last week I do this. And it's going to be, I know that's going to be a little over full. It'll lock up and we won't get any grind. You know what? Hang on. I'm going to grab a hammer and tap that. Be right back. This has got a really deep crack. And I just want to give this stone a tap and do that. And that's just crumbling to nothing. Fits better in the barrel. I'm going to throw this part out. Goodness, all the sparklies. Alright, so we have like 5 pieces that we're going to put aside for stage 2. We're going to run this barrel 2 tablespoons, I don't need that much, 1.5 tablespoons of stage 1 silicone carbide, 1 tablespoon of borax, put water in it, and we'll see it in a week. We're going to let it grind down. And these are just going to go in the garbage. I think it's even too soft to put outside. I'd hate for a bird to get that and choke on it. I don't know. Kind of a silly thing to be worried about. Okay, be right back. Okay, we are back with our Lepidolite. Now this is an advanced run, but oh my goodness, it is going to be very interesting. That is so thick. I think I mentioned last week it's like cake batter, but we had put more 16 or more rough in here, so there's a lot of stone mass loss, stone volume loss. Can't really tell in this lighting. This is a super purple lilac kind of mud or slurry. You never know that was inside that, would you? I always find that washing out the barrels is kind of the most fun because it's the most change that you see. There's lots of grit left over, and this ran for a week. It's just such a soft stone. It doesn't use up all the grit. So when you're running Mohs hardness 2.5 to 4 stones, I would use half the recommended grit that the barrel size calls for. See how the grit separates from the rock mud? So this was a 3-pound barrel, so typically you put in 3 tablespoons. I think 1.5 would have been more than enough. Probably even just 1 for a 7-day cycle, because the stone is just so soft. The grit just didn't get used up, and as you can see, we didn't have any ceramic media on the barrel. We had nothing impeding the grind. Just want to make sure, I mean, it's a pretty gritty stone. Just want to make sure I get a really good clean on this. Let's see, the sun is moving here. Get a little bit of sunlight on that. There's some sunlight. Okay, we'll check this Lepidolite out inside. Be right back. Lepidolite is a very soft stone. On the Mohs hardness scale, it rates a 2.5 to 4, depending on the matrix that's in the stone with it. It has been running repeated stage 1 batches, trying to use up all the stock that I had on the shelves. So it's, to say that it's run for 2 months is a misnomer. It's usually 2 to 3 cycles before the stone is ready to be pulled out and set aside to run with another batch of medium. So I've just been trying to get all the stage 1s caught up so it all runs together. So let's take a look at the shaping on this beautiful purple sparkly stone. There was a lot of breakage, a lot of crumbling in the barrel. If you remember from when we did the washout, it's crazy. It's like super thick, like cake batter or thicker, almost like pudding. This one's good. This one's good. All this black is mica. That one's good. It's a nice purple. It's good enough. Good enough. These ones that I'm pulling out have this is probably like their third cycle in here. This one with the little green that we think might be tourmaline. First I thought it might be emerald, depending on where it was mined. This little one is ready. This one is ready. Ready-ish. Yeah, I'm not expecting great things from this batch at all. Goodness. If I get any kind of a shine on this, it'll be a bloody miracle. Alright, all these little crumbly bits. Oh. Yeah, those are all crumbly bits. All this needs to be worked out. This is definitely going to a 1.5 pound barrel. I'm going to add ceramic this time because I'm going to need the volume filler. It's such a crumbly stone. It's so soft. Yep, I think next week all this will be ready to go, whatever's left of it. Oh, Lepidolite. I don't know why I ever thought I could do you. This is going to be an epic fail. But you never know till you try it. Okay. Going to add the stuff back here to the waiting to run to medium stage. All of this is going to go back in the barrel for another run at 60, but I'm going to put it in a smaller barrel. So I'm going to have to move some things around. It was running in our 3 pound barrel, but there's not enough to do that anymore. And I'm finally out of rough. So, that's what I have to say about Lepidolite this week. We are going to start some new projects next. So stay tuned, we'll be right back. Alright, it's time to do our barrel washouts. And we're going to start with our Lepidolite this week. This hopefully is the last we'll have in stage 1. We have run multiple cycles over the last 3 months of Lepidolite, all in stage 1, trying to use up all the stock that we had. Look how violet that is. Such a lovely lilac. Super thick. Alright, now with the borax in it, it should just be a spray off cleaning. And it is, but I just want to go around that lid. And looking at the lid, I'm not sure you can see this. There is just like the slightest bit of an air pocket. So we want to burp this gasket. Get all that out there. So that lays flat again. There, better. It feels grainy, and that's because of the stone. Super easy clean out. It does seem to be a little bit of stone residue. That was in there, but it's gone now. You can see even after an 8-day cycle, there's a lot of grit left over. And we added a lot of ceramics to the barrel because we wanted to cushion the stone loss because it was getting smaller and smaller. But and we also needed volume in the barrel because even in our 1.5 barrel, there wasn't really enough stone to run everything. So I can see there's still some pieces that need to run a little bit longer. They just might get pulled. I'm going to give it a really good clean. Maybe a good spray down. Yeah, like, I mean, pieces like this need more time. Because if they're not smooth, if we don't have a smooth surface, we're never going to get a good polish. So this experiment may be a bust by the time we're finished. You can see there's a lot of little tiny pieces in here. Some that we put in to use as barrel filler, but others, like this, is brand new breakage. And you expect that in stage 1, especially since we kept putting fresh rough in. And then again, it is a soft stone, so it could just be shredding. Yeah, so there's a lot of breakage. Oh my. Alright, I'm going to go through, pick out this breakage, and set it aside because I don't want it to continue. Let's see if I can catch some of the ceramic. Something therapeutic about that. Anything else coming out? No, it's pretty clean. Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, we are back with our lepidolite. Let's see if any of this is ready to move forward to the next stage. Yeah, it looks like a fresh break. This one kinda looks ready. Kinda. I don't know. I don't think any of this is ready. I mean, in this piece, just looks like I can just snap it off with my hand. I get a piece of paper towel. So it's usually the case, and I don't want it all over everything else. Oh, gosh, I barely had to touch it. And all of that comes off with it. Gosh, look at that. Okay, so that's a no. I don't think any of this is ready. It's all got little issues. See, I don't think that would polish well in this little section, so that should just be chiseled off. It's a little quartz corner. Yeah, oh gosh, I just applied the tiniest bit of pressure and it broke. So, yeah. That's going back in. That's just a monster of a piece. This is mostly quartz. It's got the green in there that could either be tourmaline or emerald, depending on where the stone was mined. It just think that pink might be tourmaline too. I'll throw that back in. I am going to run one more week because none of this stuff looks good enough to move forward. It all looks pretty shabby. I should probably take the ceramic out, but I need some volume. You know what? I am going to dig through here. And take out some of the ceramic because I don't think it had enough. I think I had too much in it. Alright, let's... There's a lot of ceramic in that container. It's just a little 1.5 pound barrel. As you can see, I have like just nothing in here now, hardly anything. Let's put all this back in. Let's run it for one more week and just let it do whatever damage it's going to do, because I really do have enough Lepidolite to run a medium batch. But I just wanted to get all of it done together. Now you see why I put the ceramic media in here, because it's so empty. But I had too much in last time. We'll do a little more. Trying to get some of these bigger pieces. Alright, this is only half full. It's going to have plenty of room to do whatever damage it's going to do. So I'm going to recharge this with 1 tablespoon of borax because, you know, we put it in everything. It helps with grit suspension, which means it's not going to pool up at the bottom of the container. And from all the cleanouts that you've witnessed, you see that that's true. And it helps with barrel cleanup. It makes it just like I don't have to scrub anything. It's just lovely. Alright, so put that in there. We're going to dig out our stuff. Our Stage 1 6090 silicone carbide grit. And I'm only going to put 1 tablespoon in here because it's really not getting used up. You know what? I'm doing a little bit less. Yeah, let's put some water in here. This is going to be really messy and sloshy. And today is 9:30. Ooh, it's a little wet. Okay, we will see the Lepidolite next week. Regardless of the contents of this barrel next week, I'm going to move it to 120. Not necessarily the stones that are in here. Anything in this barrel that does not shape to the point where I want it to be in the second stage, I'm going to put it in the outdoor garden because I have enough stone to run this project in medium. I'm just over it already. Okay, I'll be right back. And we're back with our Lepidolite. This is running in stage 1. 6090 coarse silicone carbide grit. It should be our last run in 6090. It was just little bits and pieces that we had left over. Wanted to finish the rough up and get it off our shelves. And then we're going to see what's ready to move forward to 120. And then I did say last week, anything that was not ready to go to 120 was going to go in our outdoor garden. This is just, it's such a soft stone. It's a Mohs hardness, I think, of 2.5 to 4. And as you've seen on several videos, I can crush this with my hand. You know, just break it with my hand. So, I don't think any of this is really great shape. This one maybe. I'm not sure this stuff is ever going to take a polish. Yeah. It needs a lot more work. And it's not going to withstand it. And as these are chips that fell off this week, that broke off. You know, we're just getting smaller and smaller pieces. The only thing holding up on this is the quartz. This is very porous, has a lot of pockets in it. It's just not worthy of running forward. And we've got a whole bag that we've been pulling out. See, look at this. It just broke in my hand. So not moving forward. I don't think any of this is going to move forward. This is all going the outside garden. And I'm fine with that. Because I've got this bag that I need to put through a wash cycle and then move on to 120. And there's plenty of this. So I really don't need this little pile. Yeah. This was probably just a waste of time to run it last week. Alright, all this is going to go outside to the outdoor garden. This is going to get a wash cycle and then move to 120. Whew. Oh my goodness. Bag's even marked washed than 120. All right, that's it for Lepidolite in stage 1. Oh my gosh. We're going to move on to our other 5 barrels. Be right back. And we're back with our Lepidolite, which has been running in medium, 120, 220, silicone carbide grit. And it's been running 8 days. And so let's take a really good look at it and see the condition of the stone. Well, it doesn't feel nearly as rough as it did coming out of 6090. Here's that piece that had, it's either green tourmaline or emerald or something, whatever grows with it. Isn't that interesting? The rest of the stone pretty much wore away. This is really a rough piece. But again, I wonder if this stuff will blow up in the ultrasonic cleaner. This piece feels really, really nice. Oh, excellent. Oh, that's a dark one. And here's a light one. Oh, this is feeling really good. Okay. Lepidolite. Ooh, that's a big old fracture. Is such a soft stone. we want to make sure this is not going to break apart as we go progress on the other stages. So anything that looks like it's got a deep fissure or a deep crack in it, I'm going to pull out, because I want as much success on this stone as I can get. And I don't want, like, something like this is what I'm talking about. See right here? I think that's going to wear away. I mean, as you can see, you can follow it. My nail can go in the little fracture line. I could probably break this whole thing off with my fingers, like we've done before. I'm pulling this piece out because I think this will break apart. And if it breaks apart, it's going to damage the surface on the rest of the stones. So it's better to be safe than sorry and to pull this piece out. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for more pieces that have real issues with them. This looks like it had something break apart. And we did have a chip in the barrel when we did the washout. That's another iffy piece. Again, I'm going to pull out anything that's iffy. Everything else is going to go into an ultrasonic cleaner for about, I'm going to do it 5 minutes at a time, because I don't know if this stone, if the cavitation will blow it apart or not. But we're going to find out. Okay, I'm going to do this off camera because these videos are getting really, really long. But I showed you what I was looking for. And the surface, while not glass smooth, it's no longer grainy, but it does have a bit of a texture to it. You can see that texture in the shine. And each stage of the pre-polishes, the 500, the 1000, are going to smooth it further and further. And hopefully by the time it goes into polish, it'll have a really slick surface so it can take the polish well. We're going to find out. All right. I think the ones that are going to go on to 500, I'm going to put in this clear plastic barrel to put into the ultrasonic cleaner. All right, we'll be back. All right, it's time to wet down our 500 barrel. Let's lock it in. And we have our lepidolite. Now it's already done its ultrasonic clean from its medium stage 2, and it's ready to go to stage 3, which is 500 aluminum oxide in the vibratory unit. So we wanted to keep the stones good and wet. And then we're going to put them in here gently. This is going to take a hot minute. These are such a soft stone, 2.5 to 4 on the Mohs scale, and I don't want to damage them by a long drop into this barrel. So just take a handful at a time. I have 2 buckets of this. And we're going to run this in our vibratory unit. Let's see if we can get a better angle on that. It's just to see the volume in here. Now we're going to add our 500 ceramics. And we're going to put them in some water because everything that goes into the barrels has to be wet. So we've got all the ceramics nice and wet. I'm just going to drop it in here. Drain that water out. I don't want to overfill it. I am going to want to put a little bit more ceramic in there. Turning the action down lower. That's an awful lot in there. Might have been too much ceramic. Put 1 tablespoon of borax in here. And then we are going to put a teaspoon of our 500 aluminum oxide, stage 3, pre-polish. Because in the past I've been using way too much. And everything's nice and damp, so I really shouldn't have to add more than a squirt or 2 of water as the slurry begins to create. You know, I think I'm going to put an extra one in there. I'm going to put 2 teaspoons. It's a lot in this barrel. It's really super full. I'd really rather have too much than not enough. I'm going to turn the action up to help create the slurry. Boy, it's taking a long time for the slurry to be created. I wonder if it's because the barrel's over full. When you start, I mean, if you look at the ceramics, you can see it's starting to turn a little bit gray. That's the slurry starting. Yeah, it's starting to create. Okay, let's put the lid on here. Button it up. Oh, I need to label it. I'll get the label and I'll be right back. Alright. We will see a Lepidolite in 3 days. I'll be checking it as we go along to make sure that it doesn't lock up and that the slurry is the consistency that we wanted. So it should be fine. Okay, it has been 3 days since our Lepidolite has been in 500 aluminum oxide. We've been checking it along the way, and the slurry seems to be okay. It did lock up on us once because we had it running so low, and the barrel really is over full. So let's take a look at it. Let's get a little bucket of water here. So we can pull out a stone and wash it. So 500. Let's just grab a piece of Lepidolite. Look at that lovely, lovely slurry. That's what we have been trying to get all along. Surface of this stone. Let's get some more light here. There we go. Nice and smooth. Better than I thought it was going to be honest. I definitely think it's ready to move on to 1000. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of Dawn soap in here. A drop or two. Water. That's the water from polishing that one stone, or cleaning that one stone. Let's give it just a little bit more water. And we will let this run for about 30 minutes, and then we'll take it outside and wash it. Yeah, Lepidolite ended its 3 days in 500 aluminum oxide, which is stage 3. It's getting a 30-minute Dawn bath. Then we're going to rinse it really well outside, and we'll bring it back in and do an inspection. And we're back with our Lepidolite, which has just finished 3 days in stage 3, 500 aluminum oxide in the vibratory unit, and it went through a 30-minute dawn wash cycle in the vibratory unit, rinsed it all out, took it to the ultrasonic cleaner, did a 30-minute cycle there, rinsed it again, and now we're going to inspect it and make sure there's no damaged stones, make sure everything looks good, so that we can take it to polish, or to stage 4, which will be our 1000 aluminum oxide. Ooh. Feels nice, much smoother. It doesn't have that grainy texture. I mean, it needs to be smoother still, but I'm feeling fairly happy. I mean, we can see that it's porous, and you can see that there's a lot of little nooks and crannies on this really soft stone. But the ultrasonic cleaner got all that out. It's feeling amazing compared to what it felt like when it went into 500. I just want to take out any problem stones before it goes further and pre-polish. I want to give this stuff the best chance it can. We got a lot to go through, and I'm going to do most of it off camera because these videos have just gotten far too long. Lepidolite with all your little pits. Very soft fractures. Now, the vibratory barrel was a little on the full side, so it did lock up a couple of times. But just adding a little bit more water made it work pretty good. So I was happy I didn't really need to run it any further, any longer. Okay, I'm gonna go check these. Then we'll be right back. Alright, let's wet down our 1000 barrel, our stage 4 barrel. Just gently put our stone in here, our lepidolite. Some ceramic media that's in water. Just drain some of this water out. Gosh darn it, making a mess. rest of the stone in. We had an awful lot in it when it ran in 500, so I want to put less ceramic in it this time. Alright, let's get that rock that fell. Oops. Okay. Let's add a little bit more ceramic. Stage 4 1000 aluminum oxide. Let's add 1 teaspoon. Do a little spray. Let's see how the slurry is going. Seems to be going a lot faster than that 500 did. I don't think I'm going to add any more ceramic to that. Set that aside. I think it only needed 1 teaspoon. Let's put this aside. Oh, that's coming along nicely. And because it's such a soft stone, I do want to slow the action just a little bit to not bruise the stone. And that is slowing it too much. Alright, we will see this in 3 days. Hope it survives. I will be checking on it during the run. Okay, that is it for this one until, yeah, that's it for Lepidolite. Alright, it has been 5 days that the Lepidolite has been running in stage 4 1000 aluminum oxide. It has locked up a couple of times, but it's running fine now. We'll get some water and then let's yeah, it looks like it's running really good. Let's check the surface and we'll be right back. more. How about we just shut that off and then grab a bigger piece and let's check it. Let's wash off, do a rinse. Dry it off. Holy cow, that surface feels nice. As you can see, we're getting a little bit of a shine already. Oh yeah, it's definitely ready to move on to polish. Okay, we'll add a little bit of Dawn, just a couple drops. No good bubbles. Add a lot of water. Turn the action up. Alright, we'll see that after a wash cycle. We're going to let that run for, I'm going to give it a little bit longer than the normal 30 minutes. It's a bigger load, softer stone. And the stone wasn't really perfect when it went in. So there's a little bit of nooks and crannies. Let's give it 45 minutes to an hour. And then we'll do a wash cycle outside. And it's raining today, so I'm not going to film that. But we'll do the inspection after that. And we'll see if we'll take out any damaged stone, and we'll move it to polish. Alright, Lepidolite is moving along. Coming to the end of stage 4. Alright, we are done with our Lepidolite in the ultrasonic cleaner. Let's see how dirty the water is. So there was a lot of that stage 4 1000 aluminum oxide still on tucked in the stone. I am going to go rinse this off, and we'll be right back and do an inspection to see if any of it's ready to go to polish. Be right back. Okay. Now, let's start this week off with our Lepidolite, which has been running a few days, 6 of them in stage 4 on a really low level in our vibratory unit in stage 4 1000 aluminum oxide. Okay, now I dried it off, and we can see a little bit of a shine, a little bit of a matte shine on this. Which is making me very hopeful for polish. The surface feels amazing. There's some texture to it. I mean, there's so much mica in this, there's no way it could be perfectly smooth. But we, I think, are going to be all right moving this to polish. What I want to make sure is I don't have any broken or chipped stone. This stone is so soft. It seems like it's holding water almost. Wow, that's pretty nice. Oh. Lots of this stuff. And I'm drying it off so that I can get a better feel, better visual on it for any damage. Now I ran this for 45 minutes in the ultrasonic. I did a 30-minute run and then I did a 15-minute run. I mean, the water was a little cloudy. I've seen worse. So, you know, I'm not all that concerned about grit contamination going into polish. But right now we have got in our polish barrel our White King's Quartz and our green citrine that has been running for like 9 days in polish in the vibratory unit because it's just not getting that high shine that I want. But I'm going low and slow on it. It's an adjustable unit for speed, and I've been going low because I don't want any bruising on it. Oh, this looks really, really good. It kills me that we're already getting a shine. I think I've been going too short in the vibratory unit. Everybody talks about, oh, it's going to speed things up, it's going to speed things up, oh, everything's going to be so much faster. And it's true, to a certain extent. But the lower I run my vibratory unit, you know, the slower, and the longer I run it, the better my results are. And that's just been little experiments that I've been doing as we go along. And so I'm kind of waiting for that polish barrel, and but I do have 2 other barrels. I could just put them in polish because we've got black onyx still waiting to go, and then it looks like this stuff is going to wait for that barrel too. Because I was having a dedicated polish barrel. Wow, look at the shine. Because this is completely dry. Oh, this is giving me hope. But yeah, so I had a dedicated barrel, and I've just been waiting, you know, to run everything in it. But now that I'm getting a lot of polished stuff backing up, I might just use the other 2 vibratory units and just do the whole thing. I mean, it's nice if you can just do a dedicated, but we're running 10 rotary barrels and 3 vibratory barrels. So this is nuts. Wait a minute, do I have 12 barrels? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh my God, I have 12 rotary barrels. Holy crap. So that's 15 barrels to all that I'm running this week. That's a lot to get through. That was like that when it went in. So that is not damage. That's quartz. Okay. I am going to finish doing this off camera because, again, we've got 15 barrels to get through, which makes these videos ridiculously long. You know what I'm looking for, I think, by now. You know, I'm looking for broken or chipped stone. I'm looking for anything that cracked. I'm looking for damage. Anything that's damaged, I'm going to pull out of the barrel. Anything else is going to be ready to go to polish. These are some janky shapes, but in the vibratory tumbler, we can handle that. Okay. I did not see when I did the rinse out any chips or anything, so I'm not expecting to find any. Wow. Look at the polish we're getting on this. And this is a pre-polish. So a lot of times you buy those kits online and they call polish like 1000 or 1200 aluminum oxide, and it's really a pre-polish. And this is why, because this is the shiniest it's ever going to get if I stopped with just that 1200 aluminum oxide. I use a 2 micron, which is 8000 aluminum oxide for a polish, and I get a much better shiny result that everybody's expecting. So this is the end of stage 4, and when I get a barrel, this is all going to move into stage 5. And stage 5 is my final stage of polish. Oh, Lepidolite, it's been such a journey. Oh, we had so much of it. We're going to end up with quite a bit, I think. Oh, this is what I was looking for. This little piece that had the green on it. And I don't know what the green stone is. It depends on where this stone was mined, what grows with it. It could either be emerald or tourmaline. And it is so, so hard. I'm leaning towards tourmaline. But it's just a little tiny bit. It makes me love it because it's so little and unexpected. Dang. Oh, I am really getting excited for this. And I think by leaving it in for a little extra time, you know, a few extra days than I normally would have, because, you know, everybody says 3-day cycles in a vibratory tumbler. And I did a lot more than that. The stuff went in on into stage 4 on October 20th. Today is the 26th, so 6 days. I think I misspoke earlier. 6 days in stage 4. Wow. Yep, I'm really happy with this. I mean, like, super duper happy. Okay, I'm going to do this, as I said, 4 or 5 times now, because I'm repeating myself. I'm going to finish this inspection off camera, and then when the polish barrel is available, these will move to polish. Okay. All right, I have 2 stones that are actually ready to go to polish. I have the black onyx and I have the lepidolite. The problem is the black onyx is heavier than the lepidolite, so I can't combine them in the same barrel. And I only have such a few pieces that I think I'm just going to hold it out, and I'm going to let the lepidolite run first. There, decision made. So our lepidolite is sitting here in water. Let's gently add it to the barrel. And I've got some wet ceramics that I want to add. I'm going to do it and kind of layer it a little bit. Alright, then I'm going to drop the stone in. This barrel in. Would have been helpful to do that first. We need some more ceramic. Trying to drain some of the water out off camera here. thickening up fast. I could watch this stuff all day. Okay, that's Lepidolite and polish. Let's create our label. You will see these lovely things in a few days. Check the progress. Okay, there we go. It has been a ridiculously busy week. 15 barrels is a lot. Okay, we'll be right back. All right, it has been 5 days since our Lepidolite has been in polish. Happy Halloween, everyone. And as you can see, I've been running a super slow roll because it's a soft stone and I didn't want to bang it up at this last stage. Let's turn it off. Let's pull out a couple pieces and see how the polish is. I'm going to grab some bigger pieces here. All right. I have to use my fingers. Just swishing it around isn't going to be enough. Feeling a very textured surface. Not that glassy smooth. Oh my gosh, that polish is really on there. All right. Wow. It is textured, and that's just the nature of the stone. Lots of mica. Good matte shine on there. But there's also a little bit of that glass shine, and this is a completely dry piece. It doesn't have that glassy look that you get on jaspers, agates, aventurines. But I am pretty darn happy with that. I could leave it in a little longer and see if we get a better shine. Let's check that second piece. This one is super textured. This has not had a burnish cycle yet, but and this Lepidolite's looking pretty good. I want a third piece out. This is a little flatter. Let's check it. Dry section of the cloth here. Wow. I'd say this is looking amazing. It is not, that's like silver mica. That's not polish, little quartz. It looks silver. I think this is coming along beautifully. I do not think that this is done even 5 days in the vibratory tumbler. I am going to let this run a little bit longer. And considering how well the stone has been tolerating that really slow action, I might turn it up just a little bit and give it one more day, and then we'll check it again tomorrow and see how that's going. I am going to give it a couple squirts of water because it's looking a tiny bit dry. Alright, we'll check it again tomorrow. You know, I really should have left the piece out. And I'm going to. Hang on. I'm going to take a piece out and leave it out. Let's take this one we had done earlier. And then tomorrow we will compare the shine from the 5 days to 6 days. And we'll figure it out. See which is better, or if it made no difference at all, or if I could have just stopped. Another container of clear water. Dry it off. Alright, this is the piece we're going to hold out to test tomorrow to compare the shines. Alright, this is 5 days and 2 micron aluminum oxide polish. This is our rock shed polish that we absolutely love. Okay. See it tomorrow. Alright, next we're going to check our miscellaneous Mo 7 barrel that's in 1000. Be right back. Welcome back to Crystal Wellness Studios. We are in the middle of an absolute nightmare of lack of space. So we've washed out all of our rotary barrels, and they are just sitting here waiting for me to have space to do an inspection. The Lepidolite has finally finished in polish, and I'm doing in the middle of an ultrasonic bath that I shut down so that I could record because it's too loud. As you can see, let's see if we can get a better picture, how cloudy that water is. This is just plain tap water, and this is just after 6 minutes. I'm running it for a 25-minute cycle. This is after 6 minutes in the ultrasonic. You see all the polish that we're getting out of the stone. We're going to continue to let it run for the remainder 18 minutes of its cycle. And then we are going... Okay, we're back real quick with our Lepidolite. This was after 5 days in polish. You can see that little shine. Okay, it's been an additional 4 days, and we want to see if we've got a better shine by leaving it in a little bit longer. Now we're not going to have that glass shine we're used to because this is a softer stone, but we did want to get something, and it does have a texture on it, which makes it harder to get that glass shine. I do not think the extra 4 days made any difference. We could have just stopped at 5. Good to know. Good to know. So I'm going to put this in the ultrasonic cleaner, and we'll let them air dry, and we'll come right back. And we're back with our lepidolite. It is finally finished. We have done the dawn wash cycle and the ultrasonic cleaner. This was our piece that we had pulled after 5 days of polish, and then we let it run for another 3 because we wanted to see if we could get a better shine than this. So let's find a piece that's equally flat so we can compare. There really isn't one. Maybe this one? This one? And it's got a flat surface. So again, we're looking at the shine level. That shine. They look pretty equal. I think it looked better after 5 days than it did after 9. And I think that this might be the reason why. We had a chip in the barrel when I did the clean out, and this could have scratched the surface in our polish barrel, kind of causing some damage. I'm not really seeing it, so that might be damage created during the wash cycle, or the washout, instead of the actual tumbling. Trying to chase the shine here. It's a Mohs hardness of 2.5 to 4. It is a very soft stone. We have managed to break it in our hands several times. It's got a lot of quartz on it, and the quartz is super shiny. I mean, I don't like to use this as an example of lepidolite because it's mostly quartz that you're getting that wonderful shine on. You know, the white part of this is the quartz. Here's a really straight up lepidolite piece. And it has just a tiny, I mean, you can see there's a little bit of a texture to it. And when there's a texture like this, you're never going to get a really high shine. But there is one in there. This is that piece that had the green on it. Look at it shine. My gosh. Whew. That's beautiful. It's a little tiny piece though. This is pretty. I like that light pink. Boy, that light pink really shone. Look at that. Wow. Good shine on that one. I am not sure I'm really willing to call lepidolite a success. You know, I mean, it's a moderate success. I mean, there is a shine. Oh, Let me know in the comments if you think the Lepidolite turned out as expected, better than expected, worse than expected. Let me know your thoughts. It's a really dark piece. It's got a great shine on it. You can even see my finger mirrored in it. Dang. Oh, maybe it turned out better than I first anticipated, now that I'm really getting a good look at it. Ooh, this is really speckled. You can see the texture in here. See, we got a shine inside. It's undercutting because the Lepidolite's softer than the quartz. But these really pale purple ones, it's harder to see a shine. They feel different. They don't feel gritty, but you can definitely feel a texture. I'm really not sure the extra days really helped it any. I ran it really, really low in the Diamond Pacific mini sonic vibratory unit because I didn't want to bruise it. And I'm not seeing any bruising, so that's a success. You know, any of this damage is just the stone. It's not really damage. Pardon me. I don't know, maybe this turned out better than I thought now that I'm really looking at individual pieces. That is so smooth. It looks like a fracture line. I'm trying to get a good look at it here. But it's optical. I mean, my finger's not catching on it at all. It is all optical, which means it's underneath a very thin layer of stone. Oh, Lepidolite, you are done. Okay. We have got a lot to do. And we'll get right back to it.